My name is David Savard, and I welcome you all here to today's event, where we have the opportunity to see the documentary, "The Darien is not a road, it is a jungle." This film was produced by the government of Panama to show the difficulties of the migration route from Colombia through Panama into Central America. We will start with remarks from Mr. Jerry Waite, the IOM Chief of Mission here in Turkey, followed by remarks from the Ambassador of Panama, Ms. Mariela Sayal. To put it into context where and why Darien is so important to the irregular migration in the Americas. Then we will screen the film, and after the screening, we will have a panel discussion with our speakers and distinguished guests, where we will open the floor to further discussion. So please have your questions ready. Without further ado, Mr. Waite, please.
Dear delegates, colleagues, I would like to congratulate the Embassy and Government of Panama for organizing this very timely event, and to thank you for inviting me to offer a few words as part of the introduction to this important film. IOM and the Government of Panama have had a very fruitful relationship for 15 years, and I am very glad to see this partnership extended in Turkey. Panama and Turkey face many similar challenges in migration management, and the obvious parallel between the two countries being in terms of the burden that the countries bear for large-scale transitory migration. The film, which I have seen, is a sobering reminder that irregular migration is a global phenomenon that can oftentimes have deadly consequences. In line with the Objective 8 of the Global Compact for Migration, the first of the three priorities in IOM's new strategic plan for 2024-2028 is to save lives and protect people on the move, in collaboration, in support of member states, whether in the Darien jungle, the Mediterranean and Aegean seas, the Sahara Desert, or the many other migration routes around the world where migrants face the terrible risks and consequences of their journeys. It is worth underlining that according to IOM's Missing Migrants Project, 2023 was the deadliest year for migrants in the past decade. Every day, IOM colleagues around the world witness firsthand the tremendous human suffering of vulnerable people risking their lives in the hopes of securing a more stable future for themselves and for their families. Sadly, a large percentage of those making these treacherous journeys are children. As a parent, it is almost unbearable to imagine how desperate one must be to make the decision to risk the lives of your children by undertaking such journeys. And it is tempting not to look, but look we must, to remind ourselves that we can and should do more. Let me sincerely thank the governments around the world, especially the governments of Panama and the government of Turkey, for all your efforts. For all your efforts to save lives and provide food, water, shelter, medical assistance, and more to migrants in vulnerable situations. Notably, both Panama and Turkey are champion countries for the Global Compact for Migration and have demonstrated remarkable commitment to manage migration in line with the objectives of the Global Compact on Migration and in line with the principle of responsibility sharing. Turkey continues to be the largest refugee hosting country worldwide. It has been IOM's pleasure to work under the government of Turkey's vital leadership to ensure those in need receive comprehensive support in line with international human rights standards. Ultimately, today's event is an excellent opportunity to give visibility to the tremendous challenges governments, communities and migrants face along these treacherous migration routes. I hope it can help us further mobilize a commitment which is urgently needed worldwide to address these issues. By raising awareness on the scale and complexity of the movement, we promote a more comprehensive, balanced discourse on migration that can benefit migrants and communities. Moreover, it is a stark reminder of the need for safe, orderly and regular migration, which has been the driving force of IOM's work over the past 7 decades. IOM is increasing its efforts to work with its member states in facilitating safe, regular and orderly migration pathways. When we make regular pathways more readily available, we decrease the impetus for people to risk their lives on unsafe migration journeys. Ultimately, it is up to governments to create the legal, policy and regulatory frameworks that define these regular pathways. Many are already moving in that direction, though at different speeds and scales with varying degrees of protection and safeguards in place. But establishing pathways on the scale required to allow people to move safely, ensure well-managed borders and prevent migrant smuggling and related crimes will need new energy and new approaches. IOM stands ready to work with governments of countries of origin, transit and destination to bring these regular pathways closer to those in need. And IOM and UNHCR, along with several of our partners, have joined forces for many decades to support the most vulnerable and to match people with opportunities through safe, regular and orderly migration channels.
Dear friends, thanks to the initiative of the National Government of Panama and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, with the collaboration of the relevant authorities and as signatories of the Global Compact for Migration, we are meeting to address a crisis of significant proportions that transcends the borders of Panama, requiring the attention and collaboration of all of us, including our distinguished guests from the International Organization for Migration, UN High Commissioner for the Refugees, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Turkey. Irregular migration, an issue of crucial importance on the international agenda, has experienced an exponential increase since 2021. It particularly impacted the region. Specifically through the Dari National Park, it involves our neighbor countries, Colombia and Costa Rica, which we share borders, highlighting the urgency of a joint and coordinated response. Migration is one of the most important and pressing global issues on our time. The United States, as the main destination for many of these migrants, plays a crucial role in this dynamic. And IOM, an invaluable partner on our efforts, has provided support and guidance, helping to address the humanitarian and environmental challenges we face in this situation. It is imperative that we continue to work hand in hand, supported by IOM, UNHCR, OCHI, UNICEF, Red Cross, other agencies and NGOs to find comprehensive solutions and address the various aspects of this crisis. In the Americas, irregular migratory flows have multiple origins, from the Antilles, the Southern Cone, and countries outside the continent. Panama, in particular, has become a transit country for a growing number of migrants. According to the High Commissioner for Refugees of the United Nations, 106 nationalities have entered through our border with Colombia, crossing the challenging Dari National Park. In 2023, 520 persons at an average of 2,050 and 3,000 migrants per day have traveled through this park using improvised trails given the absence of established roads or roads. Compromising several kilometers of crossing, facing challenging terrain and adverse conditions. It is estimated that this year will be an increment of 20%. Actually, until yesterday, the increment is going through 24%. It is alarming to know that 22.5% of them are minors, many of whom have been abandoned or lost during the journey. Regrettably, at least 345 lives have been lost in this area during 2023. Shared responsibility must be the guiding principle as we face the challenge generated by the operation of organized crime groups who profit from the promotion of irregular migrations. Host communities and indigenous peoples in Dari National Park have also felt the direct impact of the migratory flows affecting their way of life and traditions. They need support to develop sustainable alternatives that respect their culture and worldview. The Dari National Park, located between Panama and Colombia, covers 17,000 square kilometers and is the third largest forest in Central America, with 5,750 square kilometers belonging to Panama. The situation is even worse when considering the environmental impact on Dari National Park. This natural jewel of 500,000 hectares, declared a World Heritage Site and recognized as a biosphere reserve, faces an imminent threat. It is estimated that by December 2023, more than 12,000 tons of non-biodegradable waste had contaminated soils and water sources, and if this process is stopped, it will take 12 to 15 years to recover the affected areas. Each migrant during their journey discards approximately 10 kilos of solid waste, which will require considerable resources for its removal and the conservation of the park. The biodiversity of the Dari National Park is a unique treasure. It is home to 169 species of mammals. This park is also a sanctuary for more than 500 species of birds. The rich marine life along the park's coast adds another dimension to its biodiversity, with 20 species of whales and dolphins, 33 species of sharks, and 4 species of sea turtles. The Dari is not only a terrestrial refuge but also a vital marine habitat. In terms of flora, Dari National Park has more than 7,000 species of plants, including 1,500 species of trees and 600 species of orchids. This botanical treasure includes endemic and endangered plants. The initiative to present this documentary video, Dari is not a road, it's a jungle, seeks not only to address the migration crisis from a humanitarian perspective, but also to preserve the ecological wealth of the Dari National Park. This is a reminder that regular, orderly, and safe migration must go hand in hand with the conservation of our natural environments. Today, more than ever, we call for joint action. The international community has shared responsibility to address this crisis in a comprehensive manner. We are not only protecting human lives and fundamental rights, but also safeguarding natural treasures of global importance. We appreciate your attention and commitment to these crucial challenges. History will remember us not only for how we handle humanitarian crises, but also for how we care for and preserve our planet for future generations. Thank you very much.
Being receptive to this initiative of this embassy. I want to thank you, to thank also Mr. Arif Tatoglu. He's the head of Turkish Airlines in Panama, and he came especially for this event to Ankara. And thank you for Leslie Thompson and Daniela, and of course my dear friend Ambassador Valcano. I would like to invite Mr. Thompson to say some remarks on the role of the Red Cross, the Federation of Red Cross and Red Cross Society.
Trade, investment, etc. But this is one issue, and thank you for bringing this to the forefront in the capital of Turkey, Ankara, this issue that you're dealing with. And we have a lot to teach each other, a lot to learn from each other, and I think we can give a huge added value to the international community by working on this together, and I will take this back to the office and make sure that we work more comprehensively together. Thank you.
There's another one we'll bring out. Okay.
Thank you very much for this invitation, and I salute the panel and representatives of the Ambassador, Panama, and Ministry for Affairs, and IOM and United Nations. Of course, the migration effects that was mentioned in the beginning all over the world. And even there is not only wide world, but also regional, and even into our countries and big countries, there is internal migration. So is the efforts that Central American countries with our neighbors are being very hard, because this is a very complex situation, because it's not only economic reasons why the people are immigrating, but also they involve a lot of problems, like traffic of persons, drugs, stealing, even weaponry, and it's a complex. What is important is the collaboration between our countries. Recently, last year, the president of Costa Rica and the president of Panama have a meeting, and they discuss seriously all this impact. Of course, there are many approaches about the problem, because it's not only the place they are going to, but also the situation, the countries where they immigrate, and the causes that produce this immigration, because some people really don't see a future, but also they want to change the situation. So the reasons why they're looking for a new way of life, or a new dream, let's say, what was in the way that was mentioned in this documentary, is diverse.